Something happened today that made me think about when I was at secondary school and we used to start school. I come from a kind of a roughish working class area, and every year one kid in particular used to get a pair of compasses and scratch into his new school desk ACAB, ACAB. I'll give you a second to Google it if you don't know what it means. And something today just made me think of that. What happened, I was in Wetherspoons having a breakfast. I'm not proud, I'm fat and I'm hungry. And as I ordered my food, there was a couple of guys who'd obviously come from some sort of building site. They were kind of, in high-vis, toe detectors, that sort of thing. They got served and they were at the coffee machines. And the police walk in. And they take one of the guys to one side. And it turned out that what had happened, and I kind of picked this up from what I was told, and obviously you're only getting one side of the story, but I also got this from what I overheard the police saying to this guy. So essentially this guy seems to have walked down the road, got a cigarette, thrown it on the floor, and someone, I'm not sure if he was a member of the public or one of those PCSOs that we have, which are like police but not police, or whether it was a traffic warden or something like that, but someone said, can you pick that up? And he said no, and they said, well, we're going to phone the police. And he said okay, and walked into the pub for his breakfast. Obviously I hadn't been in there long because he just ordered, and then the police turned up and issued him an on-the-spot fine. And it kind of took me back to when I was a kid, because it's not a sentiment I agree with. ACAB, I think particularly if you put all in front of anything, I think you're just wrong. But it's a sentiment I get growing up in that area. I've seen, not so much recently, to be fair, the police are a lot better, but certainly in the past I've seen people who have been victims of police brutality, and I've seen CCTV footage that people have used in their court cases to say, look everyone, it was police brutality, and it was police brutality. And this is going back to those sort of dark days of the late 80s, early 90s. I'm not saying the police are perfect, far from it, no one is, but they're definitely not as bad as they used to be. And even in those bad old days in the 80s, I never agreed with that kind of ACAB statement. But I could understand where my mate who was carving this into the desk felt, yeah, I'm not entirely sure these things are helping. It's not that I don't think police shouldn't be stopping people littering. It's not that I think that littering's a good thing or anything like that. It's just, you have to be very careful when you start. I can hear sirens, believe it or not. Oh, it was an ambulance. God, imagine if that was like, I don't know if that came up on the soundtrack, by the way, but yes, sirens just went past. Imagine if that had been the police coming to arrest me for recording this. That would have been really weird. We don't live in that world yet. Like I said, I don't think that littering is something that should be ignored per se, but I'm also aware of a mate of mine who found the police because he was witness to someone having quite literally 7 bells of living shit kicked out of them. And he found the police and they didn't turn up for an hour and a half. And when you weigh those two things up, yes, I appreciate the police could have been a lot busier at 7 o'clock of the evening when my mate found him than there would have been at 9:30 in the morning when I went into a Wetherspoons. I get that. But this guy, you imagine if in 2 weeks' time he sees someone committing a crime, phones the police and they don't turn up. How's he going to think? Is he going to come at it from an attitude of, well, maybe they're just a little bit more busy? Or is he going to come at it with an attitude of, they turned up for me when I throw a cigarette end on the floor, but they can't turn up for this? I'm not saying it's right to scratch ACAB into a school desk at the start of every autumn term. Your name? Yeah, no, I'm not saying that at all. Let's not vandalise anything, folks. But I'm just saying, I think some of our institutions need to take into account that when they chase down certain things and they don't chase down other things, it looks bad and it causes problems. And I dread to think what problems this has caused. What will that guy think next time the police don't answer some sort of emergency call? What will his mates think? These things they don't happen in isolation, they happen as a group. And if 5 years down the line I see that bloke kind of scrawling ACAB on a wall, you're going to kind of go, well, it's not justified, it's not right, but can we kind of see where he's coming from? And this doesn't mean I want to live in a police state where every single little crime is punished. But I think when a lot of people, certainly, I think all of my friends can point to instances where we've called upon the police in one way or another and they haven't been there. And when they turn up for something which is quite minor, it does make you go, oh, damn, that one hurts. And it does create anger and resentment. Wouldn't have happened if he'd have been vaping, would it?